guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Andrea, if you don't know me. I'm really glad you guys are here and I'm so freaking excited to see what this channel becomes and just share my life with you guys. This has been something I've wanted to do for the longest time, probably since I was literally 10 years old. I've wanted to start a YouTube channel and I'm about to turn 21, so it's been a long time coming, but I'm so pumped that it's finally here. Little disclaimer, if you guys hear anything in the background, it's more than likely my dog, Allie. She is just playing with toys and there's no stopping her. So it is what it is. We're just gonna go with it. I also have like neighborhood kids playing outside, like almost right in front of our house. So just ignore anything you might hear in the background and we're just gonna hop into this video. So if you guys don't know me, I'm gonna give a brief little overview of what my life has looked like for the past couple years to kind of bring you up to speed, and then we'll hop into some questions. So like I said, my name's Andrea. I'm currently 20 years old. I'll be 21 in October. And in March of 2020, so 2 years ago, I got married to my best friend. His name's Trevor. He was 19 when we got married, and now he is 21. He'll be 22 next month. So today in this video, I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about the reality of getting married when you're 18 and 19 years old, why we did it, kind of what that's looked like for us, and just hopefully answer some questions that a lot of people in my life and just strangers have wondered about why we did it and how it works for us and stuff like that. So I have some questions on my phone that I'm just gonna go ahead and hop into answering. So starting off with more of the wedding related questions and less of the marriage questions. Someone asked, when did we get married? So we got married on March 7th of 2020, which was almost exactly a week before the whole entire world shut down and changed forever. And I will never be over the fact that we literally missed the whole COVID, replanning your wedding, everything got canceled, like all of that stuff we missed by literally 1 week, and I will sing praises about that till the day I die. I will never be over that. But yeah, March 7th, 2020, we had a quite interesting welcome into marriage and married life thanks to COVID, but obviously we made it through and it's been amazing. Someone else asked, what was the hardest part of planning your wedding? I would say for me, there's probably two things. One was like asking for help and delegating tasks to other people that were like in my family or in my bridal party or something like that. I don't really like asking for help, and I'm pretty like introverted and shy when it comes to like speaking up about certain things. So I had probably the hardest time actually asking people to do things and like help me out, and I don't know, I wanted to be really hands-on with the things I was doing. We did a lot of DIYs and stuff like that. So our neighbors have four-wheelers, so if you hear that, just ignore it. So yeah, probably delegating and just like asking for help. Everyone would have been so willing to help, so I should have taken advantage of that, but up until like the month leading up to our wedding, I didn't really have anyone helping, and I just kind of did what I could. And then like 2 weeks when everyone like came in for the wedding and everyone was there, that's when like everyone was like all hands on deck and we had to make things happen. But that was probably the hardest thing. And then the second hardest thing was probably actually getting Trevor to share his opinion on things. He very thankfully is very go with the flow and didn't really have much of an opinion on anything, which was really nice because I kind of got to pick everything that I wanted, but also there were certain things where I was like, bro, help your girl out. Like, what should we do? Because I don't know. And he was just like, whatever you want. And yeah, that was probably maybe less like difficult, but more annoying at times. Someone else asked, where did we go on our honeymoon? We went to the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, which was so much fun. We had a blast. We would probably go again and stay for longer. I think we stayed for about 5 days. So definitely like a good amount of time, but the first like 2 days were just us like recouping and like sleeping all day and not really doing anything. So by the end of the trip, like we probably could have lasted a couple more days just like at the beach doing nothing. But yeah, it was so much fun. I'm so thankful we got to go there. And like I mentioned, it was literally like a week before COVID. So on our way back is when they were started asking like, have you been to China and like all this stuff. So we got super lucky that nothing bad happened. a week before and we were able to like get home and we weren't stuck in the Bahamas. Although maybe that wouldn't have been the worst thing, but still very glad that we got home. Someone asked, did you always want to get married young? So I'm not gonna answer for Trevor, but for me, I would say that's not something that I really expected, but it was something that I always wanted. So since our relationship moved very quickly, which I'll get into later, I guess it kind of caught me off guard in the sense where I was like 16, 17 and I wasn't like, oh yeah, next year, 2 years from now, 100% we'll be married. That's not really what I thought was going to happen. Obviously, I'm very thankful that that is what happened. But I would definitely say it's something that I always wanted in my life, was to be a young wife and a young mom and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't say I expected it, but it is something that I wanted, and I wasn't really surprised that it did happen either, if that makes sense. Probably the most asked question that we've gotten in the last 2 years has been like, did our family support us, and were people supportive of us getting married young? Were people mad? Like just all that type of stuff. I would say, thankfully, our family was very supportive of us and is still very supportive of us getting married young. I think there was definitely some shock that happened since everything did move very quickly in our relationship, but everyone took their time to like digest the information and then was like there for us and always has been there for us. There were people that did have negative things to say and did make those things known, but also there's not really a nice way to say this, but they weren't really people that we cared about their opinion, if that makes sense. Like they were people that we either hadn't talked to in a long time, or like friends of a friend, or distant friends, or acquaintances, people that we've had drama with in the past that just kind of wanted to stir things up again. People that just kind of saw it on social media and didn't know Trevor and I, hadn't even met Trevor or hadn't even met me, or like just had preconceived notions of what our relationship looked like that weren't accurate, that had the most negative things to say. So everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Thankfully, everyone that was important to us and mattered had good things to say and was there for us. The other people were just kind of hanging out in the back doing their own thing, and that's totally fine. But they weren't really people that were going to affect us regardless of what they had to say about it. Someone asked, what is the hardest part about being married so young? I have a little bit to say about this, but kind of how I look at it is that being young doesn't really have much to do with anything, I guess. Like it does, but it doesn't. I have seen plenty of people get married at 16, 17, 18, in their early 20s, just younger people that have had super long, successful, healthy marriages and are so happy and all this stuff. And then I've also seen, on the other hand, people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s get married, hate it, be unhappy, get a divorce, and all that stuff. So I don't really think age has much of a say on how successful your marriage can be. I think it's very dependent on each couple and each relationship, your maturity level. Kind of for this question and for a few of the other questions, taking age out of the whole thing is how I look at it, because I don't really think age has much of a say on anything. But the hardest part about being married in general, I would say, has probably just been figuring out what we want our marriage to look like and communicating and making sure that we're on the same page and working as a team and not like against each other. That's probably been not the hardest thing. Honestly, I don't really feel like anything has been extremely hard, thankfully. But I would just say the thing that takes the most effort would just be making sure that we're working as a team and like listening to how each other's feeling and what we can do to make each other feel better and feel more loved and make our marriage stronger and stuff like that. It's just something that you kind of constantly have to be working on. And that's just something that takes time and takes consistent effort. So I'd probably say that's the hardest thing, which I think is true for any relationship, regardless if you're married or young or older or whatever it is. Obviously, a question we get all the time is, when are we having kids? How many kids do you want to have? And all that type of stuff. So yes, we do plan on having kids. That is something that both of us really want for our lives, but we don't plan on having kids anytime soon. We've talked about having kids, if it was up to us, in 3 years. So once we've been married for 5 years is when we would start trying. Obviously things can happen and we might have a kid before that, but for right now, what we're planning on and what we're expecting and stuff like that is to start having kids in about 3 years. And then as far as how many kids we want to have, if you ask me, I would probably say 3 or 4 kids, and if you ask Trevor, he'd probably say 2 or 3. So I think 3 is probably the most realistic, maybe 2, maybe more. I don't really know, we'll see. It kind of depends on where we're at and how the kids that we do have are and all those things. Another question that we got a lot was, did you ever feel like you moved too quickly in your relationship? If you guys don't know, Trevor and I's relationship did move very quickly compared to a lot of other relationships. We started dating in February of 2019. We got engaged in June of 2019. And then we got married on March 7th of 2020. So we got married just after our like 1-year anniversary of dating and being engaged and all that stuff. So we did have a very fast-paced relationship, and I personally don't think we moved too quickly for us. I wouldn't necessarily suggest or recommend or say that moving that quickly would be good for every couple. It again kind of depends on each couple and why you are rushing things, and if you have support, and why, if you don't have support, why don't you have support, and all that type of stuff. So I personally don't think we moved too fast for us, but like I said, that really wouldn't work for everyone, I don't think, and that's okay. If you guys want to be dating for 4 years and have a 2-year-long engagement and then get married after that, after being best friends for 10 years prior to all those things happening, like, that is amazing. And yeah, I think it is really dependent on each couple and stuff like that. The last question I'm going to answer is, what are our future plans and kind of where are we at now and stuff like that. So if you guys know me or know anything about Trevor and I's story, we got married in South Carolina. That is where all of our family for the most part is, and that's where Trevor was born and raised. That's where I was living for the past like 15 years, was in the Carolinas, and that's where we met, that's where we got married. Like, all the things happened in South Carolina. And we didn't really expect to leave there anytime soon, but in December of 2021, Trevor got a job offer in southern Louisiana, and in January we moved down here, so that's where we're at now. This is our house down here. We are super excited to see kind of what this next year here looks like. I say year because that's when our lease is up, and that's more than likely when we will move back to South Carolina. This is a pretty temporary move. We don't really want to settle down here or anything like that, but we are here right now, and it's been so much fun, and we are just really excited to kind of see what is down here for us and kind of really just live it up down here. We are really young. We have one of our really good friends lives with us, so we have a roommate. He came down with us from South Carolina, and yeah, it's just been a really exciting time, and it's had its own challenges, don't get me wrong. We literally within 3 weeks got the news that he could get that job down here, decided we were gonna move, and moved, like, all within like less than 1 month. And during that was like Christmas and New Year's and all the things. So it's definitely been stressful. I feel like we're just now settling in, and it's already March, which is crazy, but that's kind of where we're at now, and we're just kind of along for the ride. We don't really have a lot of plans right now, which is kind of what we love. Like, we don't have anything really holding us down. We kind of have always said that we wanted to do something like this before we had kids and before we bought a house and all that type of stuff. So we're just really wanting to take advantage of the time that we have down here, away from all of our family, away from everything that's really comfortable, and really put ourselves out there, meet new people, experience new things, and really build up our relationship to be our own little family unit before we move back to South Carolina and have all our family around again and start having our own kids and stuff like that. So as far as our future plans, we don't really have any. Also, anything could change. We could get to August and decide that we want to stay another year, and we're both down for that, as long as it works out and we kind of have a good idea of what that's going to look like for us. So that's kind of all I have to say in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little bit more about the reality of getting married at 18 and 19 years old and what that's looked like for us. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, or video requests, or questions you want Trevor to answer, definitely leave those in the comments down below and I will try to make all those things happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!